Hello, everyone. Madam Z here, and I am here with the lovely Flora Ware. How are you?
I am doing wonderfully well. Hello.
Let me get the questions up. So, me and Flora go way back. Way back. She was, I've studied under her for circle, um, and also for circle leadership, but she was the first one who like made me cry.
You.
And I in ritual. And I was like, what the hell? Online. Because I was like, it's online, No. Flora is a fabulous circle facilitator and she'll make you cry, which is a good thing.
The way you say it, it's like I was so mean I made you cry. You
No,
you felt something. You felt your own heart.
she does. Very much a nurturer and very much a kind, probably one of the kindest souls I have ever met. So she tears down all those boundaries in a very sacred and very safe place. So thank you for honoring us for sure. So the wonderful Flora is going to be doing the opening ritual for the Witches Gathering November 6th through the 8th. So he is going to be setting sacred space for us for the entire 3 days together. So she's going to cast that magical circle. She's going to bring in the elements. She's going to set that sacred space for us. So I'm so excited and honored that you're going to be creating that magic for us.
Yeah. It's I don't take for granted that when you invited me for that particular piece, that it's such a special piece of any event is the opening ceremony. So the honor is mine to be able to begin the event that way.
Yeah, so we're glad that you're here. So tell everybody and the listeners what you do and just a little bit about yourself, because we have some new people that are here. So tell them exactly what you do.
Well, I am a Celtic witch. My faith is very steeped in the Celtic spiritual traditions. My practices are very earth-based and moon-based too, I guess. Living attuned to the moon and the seasons for many decades now. And I'm also a singer and sacred space holder, and I'm blessed to now work full-time as a spiritual leader and a goddess guide, and really being a priestess full-time for, especially with archetypal work. I specialize in sacred feminine archetypes and providing opportunities for women, especially I work with women to be in sacred space.
Yeah, because you're the who introduced me to Pele when I took your class the first time.
Yeah.
Pele? Who's Pele? Because there's so many goddesses, but I was like, well, that makes sense. Now I understand why she's calling to me. So Flora will introduce you to a lot of goddesses, and maybe some that are known and some that are unknown to you. Some new goddesses that you need to. I'm super excited though about your new album that's come out.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. And I'll definitely say a bit about that. So yes, I just very recently released my songs for the Wheel of the Year. So any pagan will immediately understand what that means. And I'm hoping that it spreads out to more of the non-pagan and understanding what that is. I never intended for it to become an album. I was simply writing these chants for the Sabbats to share in ceremony. So I wrote the eight songs over the course of a year, and then thankfully to the encouragement of a woman in my community who's also a singer and songwriter, and she said, you should record these. And at first I thought, what? That's like, what? And then she encouraged me, and it all came together, and just beautifully layered vocals and harmonies. And so, yeah, I'm really, really just, again, humbled and honored to and happy to share the songs for the Wheel of the Year.
Yeah, it's a great album, though. I mean, Flora's a phenomenal singer, so that's probably why music always touches my heart. And so when we were in circle together, Virtual, she'd always sing and drum, and I'm like, I'm just crying. So she kind of, soothes that kind of savage beast kind of with your voice and your soul and breaks down those energies. So I say you're sneaky like that, Flora.
I'm going to use it as a testimonial somewhere. The savage beast.
Sneaky. So tell us exactly, you're in Canada, right? And tell us kind of your backstory, how you came to be this high priestess and this phenomenal singer.
Yes. Well, born and raised in BC, Canada. So, on the West Coast. My family did live in Ontario for a few years when I was young, but yeah, I was blessed to have parents who loved nature as much as I did, and certainly not back then would have really identified as pagans, but they were just being connected to the seasons and to the land. I mean, that's how I got my name Flora, which means plants and flowers, because my father particularly is a gardener, and he's also a musician. And so, I just was fortunate that way, that I was raised by parents who were artists, musicians, and had a connection to the earth. But really, in 1993, I attended my first full moon women's circle, and that was it. I mean, I think that many women have that experience of being in circle with other women, and it really triggered a deep remembrance in me. Yeah. And it just felt so right, and it felt so powerful, and just so familiar, even though it was a brand new experience. So there I was at that tender age of 14, and just one thing led to another. But all of a sudden, I'm reading Starhawk's Spiral Dance, and I'm reading Mists of Avalon. Because this is all pre-internet, right? We just had books. Clarissa Pinkola Estes' book, that Women Who Run with the Wolves, had just been released in '93, and so there was actually a really beautiful resurgence that happened in the '90s around goddess spirituality, and a deepening in I think our awareness. And so then it's just been my life since then. But I was very much a solo practitioner for many years. Mm-hmm. Living my life. I would lead workshops occasionally around voice and chakras. I would lead circles I would certainly attend circles when the opportunity came my way, but it was pretty sporadic. And until about 5 years ago, I really got aligned with it in a more serious way. I really found my devotion, and since then my life has opened up in so many beautiful ways. Yeah.
And sharing your gifts with other people. And we talked a little bit about the term pagan and how the term witch, and I want everyone to know that you don't have to identify as a pagan or identify as a witch to come to the event, to hang out with Flora, to be in the presence of divine sacred energy, because that's what we're creating. And it's open to males and females, or however you identify or self-identify. I primarily work with females just because I know the wound of a female sometimes, and Flora works primarily with females, but I've been getting a lot of male witches that just want to come work with me. So are you getting that kind of shift? Because I find it interesting that, the patriarchy this is off topic, but we kind of go that way. It's just kind of like falling by the wayside, and the men are learning that, women energy is where it's at. So let's honor the divine feminine in all of us.
Yeah.
Male or female.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you asked that, because literally just a few days ago, I got an email from a man who was asking if he would be welcome at one of my online events. And it was really touching, because and he was talking about, his own path. And I'm really glad that, you and a few other events that I'm starting to see in the witch community or in the spiritual are more and more co-ed, all genders, because I think that I know that there's value and benefit to having all women's spaces. Absolutely. Just as there have benefit for men to gather, right? Men need to go and gather and have their own circles and heal too. But there's also that sacred third where we are needing to come together and heal and learn. So while I'm not feeling called yet in this particular moment to start offering like coaching or teaching for men, I know that there's a need, and this Witches Gathering event fills that need where, it's not about how do you identify? Are you a this? Are you a that? Are you a man? Are you a woman? Whatever. Let's all come together and bring our magic.
Correct. And, that with the event, that's why we have a big diverse, practitioner sharing. And I think that's a big thing is there is a big need for that, for, people who want to, or men who want to come in sacred space and just, be with divine feminine women. Because if I would, the divine feminine circle, when we raise energy, there is nothing like it. And if I wasn't a part of it, I want to be a part of it. Because that's where it's at, right? I'm telling you, that's where it's at. So it's interesting, though, we have this shift of energy, and people are broadening and opening up their magic to different ways of doing things. And so I'm super excited that we're going to bring this virtually. Originally, it was going to be just my 13 circle members going to New Orleans. But then the universe had a bigger plan for all of us. So now it is globally, and now it is virtually, and it's online. But I want to reassure everyone, because there's some question of how can you hold sacred space over Zoom? And I want you to talk about this a little bit and address this, because of some people are having issues about, you can't have sacred space over the internet. It doesn't feel the same. You're not going to get the same thing as, energy or the same healing that you do in person. So I want you to talk a little bit about that and how experience that you have doing this virtually. Well, I mean, I very much disagree. You can't absolutely experience sacred space over Zoom. You can create it. However, not every facilitator or leader is experienced in that, in the medium. So that's, fair enough. Right.
Most of my most sacred circle and temple experiences in my life have happened over Zoom in the last few years. So, and that is unique, I think, to, the world that we're living in, of course. But really, it's about, I know we're not getting into a training here, but it's about the alignment of the person who's holding the space. It's about the energy that person is holding, because we are always transmitters. We're transmitting a frequency. And so, and of course, there's things that can assist the experience on the, on the end user, if you will, like to be in a quiet space. to create sacred space in your own home to receive. If you're multitasking, you have one earbud in and you're trying to still like make dinner while you're, of course you're not going to experience it as much as you will, right? So if you're going to attend some of these events, or if you're going to, even if you're watching a replay, you yourself create that sacred space for you to receive the event, and you will.
Yeah, I very much agree with that. It's, it's just like whatever you put out there, you're going to, get back. And if Flora is phenomenal at creating sacred space virtually. And if you center yourself, you quiet your mind, you are fully present in your magic, she will take you on a journey like you have never been taken on before. I still remember that journey that meditation that you took us down when we were the eagle and we had to jump off that cliff. And we had to like soar down and let our wings touch the water and come back up. I still remember that. So Flora is very good at taking us into sacred space and meditation. So so glad you're gonna opening ceremony and setting the tone for us. It's gonna be phenomenal.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about magic and tell the viewers what your favorite kind of magic is, because we have such a diverse group of people in the event. Tell us what you are really specialized in and what you're called to do. What kind of magic?
Moon magic, definitely. Moon magic has been with me for far longer than I would have ever even called it moon magic. I think I only started calling it or realizing that that's what it was, again, probably about 5 years ago, in that turning point that I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But, again, especially as women, sorry guys, not to leave you out, but we menstruate and we have that rhythm encoded in our own body of the cycles. And so from a young teenager, again, that first full moon, it was like, whoa, right, wow, this energy, this power. And then learning, right, that the full moon is the peak. The new moon is the dark moon, the low point. How am I experiencing that in my own body? So I suppose that for me, I say moon magic, but it's an embodied magic, that cyclic living, that living it. For me, even just the other night, my wife came into bed and I was already journaling, and she says, oh, what are you writing? And I'm like, oh, well, I just started. I only wrote the date, the moon phase, and what cycle day I'm on. And she says, do you always write that down? And I was like, you don't know that? I always start every journal entry with the date, the moon phase, and the cycle day. And she's like, wow, I can't believe you track all that. And I kind of laughed. I was like, I do it naturally now. And so it's like being aware, what cycle am I in? What cycle is the moon in? What seasonal cycle are we in? And so then when you can be aware, awareness is the first step. Before you can harness anything, you have to be aware of it, especially for anything that I'm wanting to manifest, anything that I'm wanting to heal. Working with those cycles, but especially moon magic is my favorite. I'll always be staying up later and doing a moon bathing, mostly naked, under the full moon. If it's a clear night, that's where you'll find me.
Wonderful. Yeah. Because we talked, everything that we do in business and personal life is pretty much centered around the moon cycle. I don't do a launch unless it's around a moon cycle. I don't plan things out like vacations or something like that unless I feel it's okay, it's aligned. Now, I'm not so much into astrology. I find astrology intimidating. So, I know the basics of it, but don't ask me. I'm not an astrologer. I find it like very intimidating. There's so much to learn about it. But in being in tune with who you are and the cycles of the earth, and like you talked about cyclical living, you will start to learn the moods that you get into, why you're like maybe hungry on a weird kind of day. Why am I craving this, or why am I just feeling like blah today, or why am I so amped up today? And if you start paying attention and being in tune with, like you said, who you are and the feminine divine energy, and you work with the moon cycles, it comes together full circle, and you will like, all right, I'm just gonna ride the wave because I know why I'm feeling like this. That's how it is.
You're living it, right? You're living it, just always. So I mean, I have my altars and my crystals, or I have my wand. I have those things too, but for me, my favorite magic is just living in that rhythm.
Correct. The magic is inside of us, I think, all of us. And that's, we talk about too, and when I teach my classes, and I can show you how to do magic and how to manifest things, but you are the most powerful magician, and the most powerful manifester is you. Forget all the tools, right? It's you. The moon magic is in you. The magician is in you. You have all the power. It reminds me of that. What is it? The Good Witch. She was like, you had the power all along.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes people have to be reminded of that, right? And this is what the 3 days of this event is that this is going to amplify your magic. We're going to get you pumped up. We're going to get you learning new types of magic. We're going to get you in sacred space where you feel free to let go of things. Or maybe you want to talk about weird, macabre magic or weird, macabre practices. This is a sacred space that's going to be presented and it's going to be created for us by Flora, that you can feel safe to talk about weird stuff. We are the weird people, right? So this is,
WYRD, weird.
WYRD. Exactly. So you can talk about all kinds of things that your magic, your practices, you can ask questions. We have 13 plus presenters, workshops, sacred space, because we're going to be in sacred space together. I always say this, don't get it twisted. Just because it's virtually doesn't mean we're not in sacred space. So you'll be in sacred space for the whole 3 days. I love it. Wow. So I know that you're not doing a workshop, but you are going to be creating sacred space. You're going to be popping in and out. And I'm sure you're going to be checking on us too. Make sure we're doing okay. And she's probably going to pop in and make sure that the energy is still there. Right? Still have to hold space, because sometimes the energy could just kind of like fizzles out a little bit, and sometimes we have to amp it up. So she can do that. That's a good thing about being virtual, right? Is you just set your altar and you just get those attentions out. So she's going to be working in the background for us, for sure. So tell us a little bit about what you are up to right now. If you have any like classes or programs or summits, or what are you working on right now?
Right now, my big focus is this album that I already mentioned, the Songs for the Wheel of the Year, getting that out. And what I didn't actually mention earlier is that we created a music video too, like a witchy music video.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yes. So I would love your support by watching it on YouTube. And if you're inspired, share it around, because we used this song for Samhain, which is the veil is thin at Samhain. We did a witchy music video where I am out wildcrafting in the woods, and then I'm making a tea, and then I create an ancestors altar, and there's a whole ancestors altar, and then there's and then I'm at the bonfire. Like it was such a fun experience, because even previously when I had a professional singing career, when I was more in the jazz pop and, that world, I never, the opportunity to make a music video never came around.
Yeah.
And so I think it's amazing. And it's just also surreal for me to now be offering and sharing completely different music, like devotional chants, and then I'm making a music video. So yeah, please go and watch and share the veil is thin at Samhain.
I need to watch that. It's almost like, the whole, who was that? The White Snake video. Back in the day, remember the White Snake videos were like the 80s, the videos were the thing, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I'm creating better White Snake videos.
And I think it's also amazing that we're in an incredible time where, more and more of us, there's just more and more freedom, and there's more and more of us coming out of the broom closet.
Yes.
The internet, of course, our savior and our, maybe our doom, but we're able to connect with more people than ever, realizing that we are far from alone in what we believe or think. And so just even, this as an archetype, the archetype of the witch is so very much alive and well.
Yeah.
In the world, in whatever shape and form and expression that the archetype of the witch comes through you, right? Because we all have it. I'm not a witch like you are. You're not a witch like I am, right? And everyone, all the other speakers and facilitators in this gathering, everyone has a unique magic, a unique expression. And so I'm just, it just feels surreal. Here we are. I've done a lot of healing around my own witch wound and the subconscious fear of persecution, that now it's like I can put out this music. I'm in public with who I am. I'm earning a living through like magic and holding sacred space. And now I'm putting out a music video. Like, it's just, what an amazing time.
Yeah. Who is this child that used to play in the garden with, your dad, right?
Yeah.
That's where it came to. Love it. Yeah. So where can people find you?
Where I'm really loving hanging out lately is Instagram.
Really?
So
Instagram?
yeah. So I mean, I have my Facebook group still going strong for sure. That's Awaken the Goddess Within. Awaken the Goddess Within on Facebook. But yeah, I would love to connect with more people on Instagram. You can just search my name, Flora Ware. Find me there.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. Across all platforms, right?
Yeah, well, not all of them, but.
So, we touched a little bit about, bringing people together and, how we can connect. And that is one of the reasons why I put this together also, so we can connect globally and make these connections that we're missing, especially now. We're missing our circles, we're missing our rituals, we're missing the in-person connection. And oh my God, I'm missing, it's like the hugs we used to give, or holding hands in circles and creating that space and the connection. So this is one of the reasons why I created this, is because I wanted to bring that connection with people and other women that are like across, the nation. Or like maybe I have a witch in San Diego and the other one's in, Florida, and they become like witchy friends, BFFs. They're, have this lifelong connection, and maybe they're soul sisters, And this is why we created this also, is to bring the connection of other witches together that would have never, ever met. Yes. And create that sense of community, for sure. So I'm looking forward to the speakers, but I'm also kind of looking forward to the messages I'm going to receive afterwards of like, I just met my soulmate, my witchy soulmate. You know, we're gonna meet up together. We already planned a witchy road trip. We're gonna do a circle together. You know, that we're gonna work together. We're gonna, that kind of thing. I know it's gonna happen. I know, I feel it. I know that we are gonna bring a lot of people together to make these intimate connections. So I'm looking forward to those.
Yeah, absolutely.
So any else with one or two kind of sentences or tips that you want to give people, or like a parting word or advice that you want to give to like pagans or witches or women or men or whoever?
Tips, hey?
Words of advice.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. When you say it like that, what really came through was stop hiding.
Yeah.
Stop hiding who you are, and stop deciding for other people how they may or may not, judge you or receive you.
Yes.
If there's still a part of you that feels like, well, I can't really share who I am or what I'm into, maybe just bit by bit, right? Like, no, you don't have to suddenly come out to your parents or your religious aunts like, dun dun, here I am, and this is everything that I'm, it's just, but bit by bit in the conversations you can share what you believe or something. It's a life lived inauthentically isn't a life fully lived. And so now there's no reason for us to hide who we are. And if there is a truly legitimate and very real threat to your safety, obviously honor that. But where you can be really expressed and authentic, find more and more places, people where you can be fully expressed, like the witches gathering,
Exactly.
because we can't fully access our magic if we're constantly putting the brakes on.
Right. I have that wall.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So who are you binge watching or listening to or reading or crushing on magically? What's in Flora's bookcase?
That's a great question. I am currently listening to the audiobook of Mary Magdalene Revealed by Megan Watterson, and which is an interesting juxtaposition perhaps with this, and yet it's not. It is not in this totally different world, and that's what's fascinating for me. She has written a very important book with that, revealing the hidden gospels of Mary Magdalene and the true nature of early Christianity. And I'm not a Christian. I wasn't raised Christian. I'm not someone that's really still actively healing a religious wound around that. My mom was a recovering Catholic, but that was so. But I'm really impressed with the writing and the content of Megan's book. So yeah, Mary Magdalene Revealed.
I'm glad that she's actually being honored the way she needs to be, and that was one of the reasons why I left Christianity and the Catholic Church, because I didn't know anything about the hidden gospels of Mary Magdalene until I don't know who I was with, but it was it was part of my path, and I was like, what are you talking about, the hidden gospels of Mary Magdalene? What? And so they told me about this, and I was like, that no wonder I'm questioning why I'm here. Yeah. So then I started looking at it, and I was like, yeah, I'm out. Bye-bye. Exactly. So I'm glad that she's being honored, and a lot of, there's Christian witches out there, and, can I work with, Mary Magdalene as a goddess? And I'm like, absolutely. Yes, honor her. because she wasn't honored the way she should have been honored. That's for sure. That's definitely for sure. So join us. So glad that you could hang out with us, Flora. So November 6th through the 8th is a Witches Gathering. Down there in the ticket, you will find it, Witches Gathering 2020. And we will put all of the descriptions to, come hang out with Flora, where she's going to be at. Send her messages, follow her on Instagram. We have tickets available still. VIP is probably very, very limited. So click that link, purchase your tickets. We have 3 tickets available. Day passes, if people can't hang out the entire day. We have 1-day passes. We have seeker passes, and then we have the VIP Supreme Witch packages where you want to be.
Amazing.
Awesome. So we will see you in the Witches Gathering virtual festival, because it's going to be a festival, November 6th through the 8th. And Flora is going to open up sacred space for us for the event. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. Blessed be everyone, and we will see you at the event. Witch on.